Lost, Chapter 4. Most of the time, the seniors tried to act grown up. Today it just didn't seem right to be that way. They played games that most of them hadn't played since grade school. They had a good time just being together as a class, and though it wasn't graduation yet, it seemed to many of them that they were saying goodbye. That was the best they have had in a long time, Nicky commented to Tina. I can't believe the time passed so fast. Most school days feel like they're never going to end. I know, I was dreading today, but I really enjoyed myself. I'm going to miss our class. Most of us won't be together in college next year. It's kind of sad. Though we have a few new students, most of us have been together since kindergarten. I think I'm going to miss a lot of things about our school. I know, me too. But I can tell you one thing I am not going to miss, and that is homework. I am so sick of writing term papers, Nicky smiled. I'll just be glad when it's over and we don't have to worry about making good grades anymore. Tina grinned. I didn't know you really worried about that, Nicky. I thought you were just naturally a good student. Nicky laughed. I wish. Then I wouldn't have to study. Nicky forced herself not to shiver as she thought of what her father would do to her when her grades weren't perfect. Tina looked up at Nicky. Are you coming tonight or not? Andy was watching your every move today. This could be your big chance. Tina nudged Nicky as she teased. What do you think? Nicky sighed. I just don't know yet. I haven't had a chance to ask. Tina sighed. What is wrong with you? You should be thrilled. The most popular boy in the high school has a liking for you, and you completely ignore him. No wonder you don't have a boyfriend. Nicky shuddered at the thought of having a boyfriend. She didn't need someone else to hurt her. She didn't want anyone to be like her. Her father had made it clear what he would do to her if she did like someone. Nicky, please, I really want you to come. One party surely wouldn't upset them that much, would it? Tina pleaded. I'll try, Nicky promised, but that's all I can do. If you don't hear from me, just assume I couldn't come. Fair? Tina sighed. I guess it'll have to be as long as you try. Nicky laughed. I will tell you right now, Tina, if I go, it has nothing to do with him. It will be for you, so don't get any ideas that I like him, because I don't. And if I go, I don't want you to ask me to any more parties this year, please. Just then, Nicky stopped laughing and looked down at her watch. Oh, no, I've got to run. Mom wanted me home on time today. Okay, see you tonight, hopefully, Tina called as she headed for the car. See ya, Nicky called as she ran to the street. Slowing her steps slightly, Nicky sighed. I don't want to go to your party, Tina, Nicky muttered as she walked on. I like Andy, just not in that way. Besides, I'm not allowed to date, and even if I were, I don't think I would date Andy. She trembled as she remembered her father's threats from the night before, especially after last night, she thought to herself. What if Daddy would have seen me getting in and out of a strange boy's car? What if he suspected something? Would he really do what he had threatened, she wondered, too afraid to even say the thought out loud to herself. She shivered again. Yes, he would, and she knew it. He wouldn't think twice about it. She bit her lip. What if he had followed her to school that morning? What if he had seen her with Dustin? She groaned as she slowed her step even more. The last thing I want to do is go home, she groaned. I'm tired of living like this. I'm not ready for what is coming. All of her life she had tried to obey. She wanted her mom and dad to like her, maybe even love her. What does it feel like to be loved, she wondered. Is it feeling safe the way I do when I'm around Dustin? Or is it something else? Do I like him? She flushed. Would she ever know? Would she ever have the chance to find out? Or would she go through life never knowing love or comfort, never having someone to hold or protect her? At that moment, a car pulled up beside her and stopped. The driver rolled down the window. Thought you said I could give you a ride, Dustin called. He felt his pulse race as he watched her. She held her head high and walked with so much confidence, yet something didn't seem right. Nicky jumped as he spoke to her. She felt her pulse race when she saw who it was. Why is he doing this, she thought. Does he like me, or is he trying to do something to me? Or maybe he's just trying to be nice. He hasn't tried to do anything to me, and I don't feel afraid of him. Nicky struggled with her thoughts. He has been a perfect gentleman with me. Maybe it will be okay as long as my parents don't find out. There's no telling what they would do if they ever found out I was accepting rides from a stranger, especially a boy. But Mr. Bates had started it. Maybe it was okay. She struggled with what to say, knowing it wouldn't matter if it started by Mr. Bates or not if her father saw her. Finally she answered, "I had to get home. I'm sorry. Maybe another time." "Can I give you a ride the rest of the way?" he asked kindly. Nicky trembled. His eyes looked so pleading she almost gave in, then remembered the way her father had threatened her. She hardened. "Not today, thanks. I'm almost there anyway. I'll just walk." She smiled slightly, hoping she didn't sound too cold. "It was nice of you to stop. Thanks. Are you sure I can't give you a ride the rest of the way?" "Another time," she said softly, not meeting his gaze. "I'll let you give me a ride another time." "I'll hold you to that," he said with a teasing smile. She smiled, looking up at him. He sat back in his seat and waved. "See you soon," he said as he drove off. Biting her lip, she continued on her way home. "I hope so, Dustin," she whispered. "I hope so." Quickly, she wiped away her tears. Trudging up the drive, she slowed even more. Dreading going into the house, she paused, her hand on the doorknob as her parents' voices floated out to her. "I told you I don't want to be left at home with her. She is the most disobedient child I've ever seen," her mother hollered. "I have business to take care of also. If you are gone on a business trip, then I am. That is one thing. But we can't both be gone at the same time. I told you last week I needed to go to New York next Monday, and that I would be gone for about a week." Her father grunted and mumbled something Nicky couldn't hear. She leaned close to the door, trying to hear. "I don't have to leave till Thursday. I won't be gone more than over the weekend. Can't you try to make it home in time to be with her Thursday after school?" Her mother sighed. "What are we going to do when she graduates? I am not staying home just to make sure she behaves." Nicky heard her father snort. "She will learn to behave without us here. Don't worry, she'll be too busy through the summer to get into any trouble. I know she's getting older, but as long as I can help it, she will keep herself clean. Don't worry about her. She won't get into trouble, the same trouble we did." Nicky trembled. What does he mean by that? She wondered. Then she heard her father again and leaned closer to the door to listen. "Where is she anyway? Late again, I suppose," he growled. "If she doesn't learn to listen to me," her mother sighed. "Yes, I suppose she's late, isn't she always?" Her father grunted. "You planning on staying here tonight with her? I'm sorry, but I have to go to work." "I suppose I have to, don't I?" her mother snapped. "Just don't count on me being in a good mood when you get home. And if you can't be back in time next weekend, it might be a good time to see how good she will be during the summer." Nicky took a deep breath. "If I let them go on, I'll be in even bigger trouble," she muttered. Slowly she pushed open the door. Both parents turned to look at her. Nicky trembled as she stepped in. "Sorry I'm late," she said quietly. "I guess I just walked a little slow today." As her father walked toward her, Nicky closed the door and stepped back against it, trembling in fear. Angrily, he reached out and grabbed her arm. "Get to your room this minute. I'll deal with you later." He pushed her towards her bedroom. Nicky fled to her room. As she pushed the door shut, she sighed. "That went better than I expected," she thought. She relaxed a little when she heard her parents arguing again. "At least they won't come in here for a while," she said to herself as she pulled out her books. "Might as well get some homework done while I can. I know I won't be able to later." After about an hour, her father knocked at her door. "Nicole, I'm leaving for work. I don't have time to deal with you now, so be prepared for later. And don't bother your mother tonight. Got it? You leave her alone." "Yes, sir," Nicky called. She heard her father leave, and slowly she relaxed. All she had to do was stay away from her mother and leave her alone. She could do that. After a while, she opened her door. Her mother was sitting in the living room watching TV. She turned to look at Nicky. "Get out of the house, Nicole. I don't want to have to deal with you tonight." Her mother's voice was tired. Nicky stared at her mother in shock. Her mom usually just yelled at her to be quiet or go to her room, and usually she said she didn't want to see her right now. "Yes, ma'am," she said softly. Stepping back into her room, she pulled on a clean pair of pants and a sweater. "Guess I'm going to your party after all, Tina," she mumbled.